Suppose you're walking down a city street and you happen to look down an alley and you see in that alley a woman or a child that is in a cage. And would you just walk on by? There's a woman or a child in a cage. Or would you try to liberate them? And suppose you continue walking down the street and you see an apartment building on fire. And on the second story window, you spot a man, a woman, or a child, and they're screaming for help. What would you do? Would you just keep on walking and just let them kind of meet their fate or hope someone else takes care of them? Or would you try to do something to help them? And what do we teach each other in our society and in our families and about our children if they decide at 8 years old to pick up smoking? Or what do we do when we see our teenagers that are getting drunk or taking drugs or watching porn? Do we just sit by, or do we step in and try to say something that's going to help save them, protect them, liberate them from the thing that they're doing? We typically, if we're conscientious, will inform our children of the dangers of the thing that they are doing. What dangers? Primarily the danger of getting addicted to the activity, or therefore putting themselves in a cage, in bondage, in harm's way. Obviously, I'm describing forms of bondage here. A cage, a dangerous fire, and you're out on the balcony with nowhere to go, substances, and liberating people from those things. So, physical bondage, while dangerous and supremely uncomfortable for us, is, I would suggest, nothing compared to spiritual bondage, where someone has been taken captive by a lie, or including lies of the flesh, lies pertaining to pseudo-libertarianism or liberation, or lies about life, lies about God, lies about what he wants from you. I maintain without apology that God's most desired trait for his creations, his human creations, is liberty and freedom. And I suggest he holds liberty and freedom up higher than faith, higher than love. Because true faith and real love can exist without there being liberty and without there being freedom. Of course, we know that Jesus came to set the captives free. As many of you know, I grew up near the beach in Southern California and became an ocean lifeguard about 15 years of age. And I kind of calculated it out, no less than 10,000 hours of my young life looking out at the ocean surface, either as a beach goer or about half of those hours, 5,000 hours, as an ocean lifeguard. All right? And when you're an ocean lifeguard, you're trained to see the signs of somebody in trouble. And to this day, all these years later and all these pounds added, I can spot a swimmer in danger without even thinking about it. I can spot them sitting there while the lifeguards are still putting their suntan lotion on, because of the amount of time that I spent training and learning on how to look for people who are either in danger or headed toward danger. Spotting the signs of somebody in danger is a result of time and training and experience and practice. I went to my dermatologist the other day, and he had me stripped down, and he scanned over my face and arms and legs and body and was able to spot either advanced or growing precancer growths on my body. He did it as quickly and as efficiently by hand and sight as I could spot a swimmer in trouble. And he did that because of his skills, because he learned through all of his training and experience to be able to do that, right? Jesus said, the eye is the light of the body. He also said that what comes out of the mouth reveals the content of the heart. After years of being in the Word, which I have as much exposure now of being in the Word as I had of being an ocean lifeguard, trying to understand God and trying to walk with the Lord and live by his Spirit, I, like many of you, have developed an ability to quickly spot, detect, and know when somebody is in bondage, when they're trapped in pain and suffering from the absence of God in their life. Yes, it is made evident by things that come out of their mouths as well. But it can also be seen in their eyes, which is the light of the body. Now, I'm not saying it's a mystical thing, and it's a trained thing. And it comes by exposure to cancerous skin, swimmers in trouble, access to the word and concepts that describe the difference between men and women of the spirit and men and women of the flesh. So a similarity to being able to physically spot in the countenance of someone who has done time. I can be anywhere and I can almost always spot somebody who has done serious time. There's something dead in them as a result of that horrible experience. They look sallow, they look hard, dead, and we're typically to see the ravages of them being held captive. The look in the eyes of a spiritually captive soul is not really or necessarily physical, but it is discernible. There is almost a look that says, help me, save me, I'm in trouble, right? I'm lost. I don't know why I'm sharing this with you. Perhaps to tap into things you see too, to help you see that there is a discerning nature that comes and equips people as they stay and study the word. But what I did want to say was these things in your life, like mine, ought to teach us to reach out when we see that look in the eyes of somebody, and when something comes out of their mouth that triggers the necessity to talk, that we reach out like we would reach out to the guy in the fire escape, or to the children or women in a cage, or to a teenager who's dabbling with smoking and drinking. When you see it in the eyes of another, reach out and try to liberate them in the same way that you would liberate somebody else. This is all according to the Spirit, by the way. It's not by command, and you have to use wisdom. I would never teach my daughters to reach out to a lost man in the street. It's dangerous. And I wouldn't necessarily say that every man should reach out to every person either. It can be dangerous. Let the Spirit guide. But when you see in the eyes of somebody spiritual captivity, bondage, a longing to be free, let the Spirit lead and assist them in however you're led. Enjoy your week. We love you.